there's a value in networking.
I like in-person dealing more now with the shows.
There was a lot of foul activity going on, and no one's talking about it.
I feel like I see less patience in the hobby today. And I want to get your thoughts on it. When you hear of the large dollar amounts now around PMGs, what do you think?
What it takes for someone to spend that much money on any card.
Fanatics did something tonight I had never heard about. They have a lottery.
We got you on the line.
Oh my goodness, we're both on the line.
Yes,
I don't think that the fact that they did V-Friends and Jackass is going to have any impact on how they treat sports cards.
You got to let the people know who you're rolling with, man.
Well, obviously I'm rolling with FD.
What's up, everybody? What's going on? We're here on Tuesday, not Monday. We're here on Tuesday. And this is a very good episode because I'm excited to talk to Steve Foley of TradeSafe. Let's bring Steve in. What's up, Steve?
How we doing?
Good, sir. How are you doing?
Good. I'm excited to be rolling with FD.
Well, thank you, sir. I'm excited to have you.
Thank you.
From the first time we got in contact with each other, I'm excited to have you here.
Absolutely.
So we're going to have some people coming in here probably pretty soon, but let's kick this off by telling people about yourself, what you do with TradeSafe, and everything from A to Z about the company.
You got it. So I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I'm the founder of TradeSafe. So I worked on TradeSafe about a year and a half ago, and we finally came into a beta right around the end of February. Had a great opportunity from our friends at Card Ladder that generously gave us a booth and said, "Hey, come hang out with us." And so we got to go to the Mint and really showcase TradeSafe, which was awesome. And so, after that, we continued to work. We've got a pretty big team. And then we just continued to work on TradeSafe, and we just came out, kind of redid our form, redid our website, redid everything that we needed to kind of test everything out that has been coming through us so far. And, and then we decided to relaunch the site. It's been about 2.5 weeks now. All
right. How's it been in the last 2.5 weeks? What kind of, are you driving to the site?
It's been good. It's been phenomenal. I mean, the biggest thing that held us back was, we wanted to do this experience in somewhat of an easy way. We created a form. The form was a little sticky. We knew that, you'd have to download a form. So the big change was we put our form fully electronic. You can easily go on there, fill out the information, upload your card, and then pay the fee and off we go. And so that comes to us and we send people off the shipping labels and the transaction is on its way. So
if someone wanted to put their card up, walk them through what are the steps they need to go through for that to happen. And then on the back end, once a card has been exchanged, what's the turnaround time there?
Yep. So let's give you an example of walk you through the initial steps. So the main reason we created TradeSafe was we know people are buying and selling cards on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We know that a lot of people like to do private deals. And so there's two segments there. There's social media and there's private deals. And we noticed that, people need vouchers. Everyone needs a vouch before they can get a deal done. If you don't get vouchers, the deal doesn't get done. Maybe certain Facebook groups. And then we all know that I'm on eBay a lot. And if I want to go buy a card, somebody says, "Hey, check me out on Instagram. We can take the deal private," right? Well, if you don't know that person, are you going to be willing to send them money for a card and hope that you get it, right? So TradeSafe solves all of that. And so the idea was create a platform where people could make a deal outside of TradeSafe. So we're not a marketplace. We're just the hobby's middleman service. So for a flat rate fee, you're able to go do your deal on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or a private deal with somebody, and then simply fill out the form. And we insure the cards to our hubs. and then we go through the transaction process and then send the cards back out. So that's kind of a big overview of it. The nice thing about we have 3 hubs. So they're not just going to one location. We have Oregon, we have New Hampshire, and I'm in Florida. So all of our hubs, we take a big pride in safety and security. And so big thing that we do is we inspect the slabs. Everything is under surveillance. We videotape literally every single box opening. So, some people, when we were early on, people, why would I send you a card? What if you don't send it back? We're fully insured. So it's, we're known people in the hobby. So, we can take the trust that, we're reputable people. We're not going to take your cards. I know that question has come up a couple of times, but really what the big thing for us is, and I'll tell you a quick story. We had a guy that sent us a card. It was a 1-for-1 trade, and the card sat here for a couple of weeks, and we kept emailing back the other party saying, hey, we noticed that your shipping label hasn't been checked in. What's going on? Finally, the guy who had sent us his card said, don't send it back. Let's just wait and see if the guy sends it in. Okay. And lo and behold, the guy happened to be out of town. He forgot. He just sent his card in. And the guy responded back to me, the original person who sent the card, said, thank God I used TradeSafe, because had I sent that card off, I would have never heard back from this guy. Or I would have been wondering, when is my card coming back, right? And so we've had repeat customers that love the service. The other nice thing is if you're dealing with high-end cards and you want to trade and you want to add cash, we're not an escrow service. So once the cards get checked into our hubs and we let everybody know that they've been received, you can do peer-to-peer payments. And so we stay out of that. We don't touch it. We allow people to make their transactions. They just verify that it's been sent and received, and then we ship the cards on. So all that is bundled into a new fee, which is $25 up to 10 cards, $20K value. So as you can imagine, if you're on Facebook and you want to seek out 3 or 4 cards, or in particular, some of the marketplaces, we're not taking a 12% fee. So we are literally trying to put some money back in the hobby and make it safe and secure so that no matter what, you're always going to get your whatever you sent, you're going to get it back to you.
So if I'm out there and I'm interested in your service, what's the usual turnaround time on a card that's going through the entire process?
Yep. So usual turnaround time is about 3 to 4 days for somebody to send the cards in. And right now the cards are turning around within the next day. They will get processed and shipped right back out, and both parties usually have the tracking within that night, or the next morning they're going to have their tracking, and the cards are. And another thing to note, cards are fully insured when they leave somebody's house to our hub once in possession, and then until they return. So we take that shipping, not only the insurance, but we bulk the shipping as well. So people are paying shipping both ways, but it just ensures that everything's done under signature request. Insurance is covered. You don't have to worry about your cards getting lost or damaged.
And just so everybody knows, I'm going to ask all the questions that I would want answered. And there are some good questions coming in as well. How many people represent TradeSafe, and how many people are at each hub that a card may transfer through?
Yep. So right now, look, we're a small startup. So I'm in the South Florida hub. All the hubs are managed by actual partners. Okay. So we have one person managing the hub in Oregon, another partner managing the hub in New Hampshire. We have 7 people on our team. So, we have a lot of moving parts and pieces, and whether it's business development and marketing to customer service and
yeah, you wear many hats, right?
Well, I don't. I make sure everything kind of goes according to plan, but we have a lot of very talented, very seasoned people in the industry that know what they're doing and give incredible feedback, from Jeremy Lee to, Kevin James, Richard Zangrillo, my brother Mike. I'm fortunate enough to have, part of the team, and he's in the New Hampshire hub. We got a really, really great team of people, and also we've got a great team of people that know sports cards, and that's super important in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so as well. Demetrius here has a question. Who are your competitors, and how is TradeSafe better for someone about this problem?
Yeah, so right now, we know that there's, there are Ship My Cards is out there. They offer a bulk service. Other than that, we're not into the marketplace, and we're hoping not to go down to the marketplace. We just want to be the middleman service. So as long as we remain that middleman service, and we've been in talks with some of the big companies to either, be a back end. And I think that's where TradeSafe's going to fit in, is that we're going to end up being the back end of a lot of different marketplaces that can help facilitate trades or deals, because maybe those companies don't want to take on those transactions or the vetting process. And so, right now we're kind of running it in sort of our own little space as far as the detail that we take, verifying the cards, allowing people to do cash payments or, pay via PayPal, Venmo, Cash App. So we're kind of running in our own little circle right now and not really facing a ton of competition.
How many total cards do you have rolling through all your hubs right now?
Total, I would say, they come in sporadic. So, I would guess that at any point in time, we have several transactions per week, right? So it's not like we're looking at hundreds of transactions. In all, this company's been launched for 4 months, right? Yes. So we're a relatively new business to the hobby. And so we know it's going to take time for people to not only trust, but to get to know us, get to know me, get to know some of the other members. And so, we suspect that those things are going to take time, because it takes time for people to trust you with their cards. I would, right? They're my possessions.
Very true. Have you ever thought about also doing this is just something that came to my mind.
Go for it.
Like a vault service.
We did. And you know what? Our main, we looked at doing a marketplace, vaults, but at the end of the day, we know that vaults are out there. And I just don't think it's in our lane to go down that road, right? I think it's a lot easier if, we just stick to doing what we can do and do it really, really well, right? Like if we can become experts, let's just say, in identifying maybe, some tampered slabs. I look at every one of my slabs. I look with a microscope. I check the cert numbers. We do a lot of little extra things for that fee. And so, I want to make sure that we get TradeSafe off and running in a direction before we start kind of branching out to other things.
Mm-hmm. So let's learn more about Steve. Tell everyone a little bit more about yourself, as far as maybe where you're from, and your interest in the hobby outside of TradeSafe.
Yeah, so I grew up in northern Vermont, and I lived in Vermont for, up until 2.5 years ago. I took a job that brought me down to South Florida. I have been collecting cards since I was 7. So, I've had a long time being a huge fan. I'm a huge sports fan. So I've always been a big Yankee collector, and I've always been a big MJ collector. So, okay. I've always loved to collect different things. So right now I'm collecting, I'm trying to put together a whole set of Jordan hologram cards, like literally every hologram that's ever been out. I'm trying to put that set together. So, I go down all these little paths, maybe Yankee swatches I'll try to do, or some vintage stuff, but I've always loved opening cards. I've always loved going to card shows. I can remember when I was in high school, I'd set up at a local gym. And this was, in the junk wax era, right? And so I was excited to just go to a card show and, trade or buy and sell and you know, meet a lot of people. So, and I love it because even when you go to a card show today, it still feels the same as it did, you know, 30 years ago. And so I love that. I mean, that part of it to me hasn't changed.
So tell people more about, I know you talked about Jordan and you talk about the Yankees. What are some things that's in your PC right now?
You know, so here's an interesting thing. So I'm not a big guy that goes after high grade cards. I like a little rough in my cards, right? So sometimes I like the vintage stuff, but I don't mind it to be a little dinged. I actually have a ton of raw cards. And sometimes there's some stuff that I really like that way. Okay. But for most of it's, you know, I'm a big baseball fan, so I have a big, you know, I love prospecting on Yankee cards. I have a ton of different baseball, you know, probably more baseball than anything. I've gone in and out of basketball several times through the years. You know, obviously, like most people will collect, you know, some football quarterbacks. But I've also done a lot of buying and selling and kind of flipping and working my way up to other stuff, and, you know, trying to get more, you know, RPAs and stuff like that, especially when it comes to basketball and football, baseball. Yeah, I'd say the core of my collection is, you know, MJ stuff and Yankees.
Okay. Now we talk about, like, I want to get into in this question, like, let's say you got someone new to the hobby and they want to do business with TradeSafe. What are some things that come to your mind that you would tell that person that's new to the hobby and how it may relate to your business?
Well, I mean, I think the biggest thing to tell people is that, look, you know, you can go on social media, you can go in Facebook, you can try to get vouchers. I mean, it's tough for a new person, right? If you're going into Facebook and you don't know a lot of people, you're not going to get many vouchers, right? So you may love a card, you see it in there, but nobody can vouch for you. What are you going to do, right? So you're kind of stuck at that point. So I think for somebody new that really sees something, this lends them an option to say, you know what, let's use TradeSafe. I don't need, you know, you don't need to know me. I don't need to know you, but we know that TradeSafe can, you know, take the deal on. So I think that's important for a lot of people. And I think that message is coming out more and more. I mean, we're certainly doing a good job at delivering that, but I think anybody can use the service. And I think even with people, you know, who are, you know, I don't want to say don't be afraid. I mean, there's a lot of people that sell cards, you know, on different marketplaces. And some of those people have reached out as well and said, look, how do I use TradeSafe so I can save myself some money? Maybe I don't want to pay high fees. And that's why we came up with a bundled service. We're not taking a percentage of the final sale. We're not taking a percentage of the money exchanged. We're just simply verifying the cards and doing the middleman work. So, you know, I think the biggest thing is we're going to always make sure that safety and security is top of mind, no matter what. We're going to make sure that everything is always secure. If for whatever reason you wanted to see the package being, you know, open, we'll send you that video. We store all that stuff so you can make sure that, you know, we have complete transparency to everything that we've done. And I think that's important because if you want to see how a card is, you know, a box is opened, we can send you a video. If you want to know how, you know, how we do basic things like go through and verify, you know, we do what most people would do, go through, go on PSA or Beckett, check out cert numbers, make sure everything lines up. And that's kind of a big thing. The other thing that we did is on our site too, was I opened up a text line, and it's actually been a great little feature because if somebody has a question on something, they just send a text. And we can answer it, right? So it's not like they have to send an email. They send a question in and they're trying to get a deal done and they just want to know how this works. Today I had a person text in that is, you know, it's probably about a $6,000 or $7,000 deal with cash, 2 cards, 1 for 1 plus cash. And so they just wanted to make sure, double check, is this how this is going to be done? And then it's nice. You have somebody actually, not only the founder of the company, but we have somebody actually answering you back.
Yeah, it's great. That is great. I guess I would think the more connection points you have with your customers and them being able to get their questions answered resolves any kind of panic about where's my car right now?
Exactly.
Or where's it at in the flow of the system? Another question I had, would you have anything, let's say I'm new to the hobby and I start working with you and I get kind of trade safe approved. Is there anything where a person can let other people know that I'm already good with trade safe, that where you kind of vouch for them and they can speak to that with other people they may be doing business with?
Well, I mean, the big thing that we wanted to do was remove vouching altogether, right? So we want people to feel comfortable, like, let's just get rid of vouching altogether. If you use TradeSafe, you don't need to worry about vouching. Anybody's going to be good with us as long as you're sending in a graded card, as long as you're filling out the form correctly. The beauty of the system is that if somebody doesn't send a card on the other end, it's okay because that card's in a safe. It's locked. It's insured. If somebody doesn't follow through on their other end of the deal, we simply just send the person their card back. It's not gone. It's not lost, right? So there's no risk in using TradeSafe. I mean, it's a safe entity. So that's the beauty of using our service.
So what do you see in the next 6 months to a year? What are the next steps kind of for the business?
Well, there's a lot of people that have asked us, are we interested in getting into a marketplace? We have looked at it. Certainly we know that there's a need, where people want to have a platform for just trading. So that's something that we've considered. We are also looking at doing some other things on our site that I think will help promote our site a little bit better and maybe make it a little bit more, the next level, right? So that might be having your own profile up there. Maybe you want to share a few cards. So those are things that we're taking into consideration. But, we always think like, look, we got to make sure we're doing the first thing first, which is getting the TradeSafe name out there, building the brand. And let's do that very, very, let's hit that out of the park. And then we can kind of start building onto it from there. And so, I'm fortunate to have very good business partners that always, settle me down and say, let's focus on this before we get this, we start jumping 2 steps ahead. And I think that's an important thing. And a lot of people that, build a business is stick to that goal, follow it all the way through. And then as you start to build out, you'll know when it's time to build out. And for us, I think going to physical hubs, bigger hubs, having people, employees working at these hubs, that will probably be the end goal of TradeSafe is to, maybe have even more hubs. We would love to be international. And I think that's the tricky part right now with dealing with, different duties and fees is that it's tough to go, send a card into Canada or to and from, or over to Europe or Australia. But that wouldn't mean that we can't set up a hub within Canada or the UK or Australia. So I think those are things that we were also thinking about in the future. We want to be ambassadors. We want to help people, educate people in the hobby as well. And so, my main goal of coming up with TradeSafe was I wanted it to encourage people to trade slabs, right? And that was the very first core principle of this was how do we do this and how do we do it safely? We know there's an excess number, right? I mean, we see the rate of cards getting graded. We know there's thousands upon thousands of excess cards that are out there that are graded. So why not trade them? Why not trade up? Come up with a trade, find people to trade with, and then you can easily use our service. And then the other thing is we've think we have a solution for raw. We're going to probably announce it after the national, but I think the next move for us will be to get into raw, and we have a pretty good system in place, and so that'll be something that we'll announce and we'll be able to take on raw cards with some certain parameters in there. And I think that'll open up the floodgates as well, because we know there's a lot of people that are posting, raw cards, and it doesn't necessarily need to be graded, but as long as they have some identifiers, I think that'll be a nice addition.
Okay. All right. Can't wait for that announcement. Let people know too, kind of like I think we talked a little bit before we got on, where they may see you at, what events you may have booths at. So if they're planning to attend something and they want to get in contact with you and talk to you more in depth in person, what can they find you at?
Yeah. So, I mean, we're on obviously all the social media, on TradeSafe Hub. .com is our website. At TradeSafe Hub is, our handles. We will be at the National. We don't have a booth, but we're going to have boots on the ground. I think after that, we're looking to probably either do a Dallas show, or we may head out west. And I think probably the Beckett Summit is on the radar as well. So,
all right, that is great. See what else I had here for you. Let's just talk market talk right now. Because I know if I'm interested in your business, I just want to hear more about how you think, right? So when you think about the market right now, we know that we are in a decline in car values. To what level people think that the decline is.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what do you think about the market going forward in the next 6, 12, 18 months? What are some things that you see and where you think things may be going?
Look, I think right now, it's just like you said, the market's down. We get it. I mean, I don't think anybody is, shocked by it. But I think it's also this time of year, we've just come off of basketball, hockey, if you're not a big baseball fan, maybe baseball's not your thing, so you're probably not excited about it. But I'm sure after the National, we start getting into preseason football. We start getting football on everybody's mind. I think the market's going to start to come back up again. And a lot of people, think, well, the market's down. What is it going to take to come up? I think the market it's down, but it's not down relative to everything else going on, right? When you look at stocks, crypto, and everything else, I mean, I think we've held up pretty well. So, and we have a roadmap ahead of us with Fanatics and other companies. There's a lot of innovation coming in, a lot of money being pumped into the hobby or to the market. So I think those are all positive signs. Now, if we saw that those people were retracting those things, and then that would be a little worrisome. But I think the market's going to be fine. I mean, everybody goes through a little bit of a dip, and I'm sure we'll see it recover. And if we don't, then people need to maybe be a little bit more cautious about what they buy, or go ahead and start trading, right? I mean, get what you can out of the value of your cards.
I agree with that. We see decline, but I also agree with you that markets rebound. We were talking a little bit earlier about this being a market. Some people see it as that, and I think there's still room for growth in the future. If we look at our economy, and if you look at that over decades, if you look at the cycles of the economy, after a strong decline, there is major opportunity if everyone gets through that decline. So those are some positive things that kind of go on. Is there anything else you'd like to tell people about TradeSafe that you feel like we haven't talked about today?
Look, no. I mean, thank you first of all, thank you for having me on the show.
I'd like to have you on more often. This is only the first time.
All right, I love it, and and we'll get some other team members on as well, and we can keep the chat going. But no, look we've been incredibly blessed with what we've been able to pull off with TradeSafe, and I think as we get out there more and more, I think we're going to become a common name. That's our goal. Our goal is to provide really good service, trusted service. We want people to feel safe that they can trade. They can save money. The one thing that I always say to people is we don't have any buyer's fees. Any seller's fees. The sellers that take a deal private, the buyers actually pay the fee. So for people out there, sellers that are looking to save a little money and avoid those high percentages, you can use TradeSafe, sell up to 10 cards. You're going to save a boatload of money. So, do your due diligence and look at that figure. A $25 transaction to up to 10 cards is a huge savings.
Well, I know earlier, let's talk more about some of the partners as well. I know we had talked about Jeremy Lee, but mention some of the names and the backgrounds of others that are involved with TradeSafe.
Yeah, so obviously, a lot of people know Jeremy, and Jeremy's been, a great contributor to TradeSafe. Kevin James is another member, and Kevin is in the DR. He has a huge background in business, promotions, marketing. He's kind of my go-to guy for business and marketing ideas, and is really he's just a very, very, very smart guy. And so he takes on a lot of the marketing ideas, marketing initiatives, really works hand in hand with myself and Jeremy. It's kind of this core three of us is really trying to, brand and decide where TradeSafe goes next. Dylan Myers is the Oregon hub, and Dylan is a young collector, younger than us, so we can call him young.
Okay.
But we wanted somebody that's also younger than us, that's got a good feel for the hobby. And Dylan's great on social media. He does a ton of deals on Twitter, and he runs the Oregon hub. My brother Mike Foley. Mike is in New Hampshire. Mike's been obviously, he's my closest brother in age. Just been a huge influence in my life, and he runs the New Hampshire hub. So Mike's also going to help us with doing some newsletter and stuff like that. So as you start seeing stuff come out, everybody will know those are coming from Mike. So no pressure to Mike. And then Travis Vignew is a longtime friend of mine in Vermont, and Travis decided to come on. He's got a background in IT network security. He's like the perfect guy that you want to handle support, answer questions, everything else. So he's been an awesome addition to our team. He literally will know exactly when an order comes in, where it's at. I don't even have to ask, Travis knows. So he's probably gonna have the busiest role out of anybody, because he'll oversee, as each hub gets busier. He's gonna oversee a lot of transactions. Okay. And then Richard Zangrillo is a partner of ours as well. And Richard came on to help us, do the web design. And he's not only is he so well informed in the hobby, but he's become a very close friend. He really goes the distance and kind of works with all of us, whether it's on design, marketing, ideas. He has a ton of inside hobby knowledge. So we always go to Richard if we need to know what's going on in the hobby. A lot of people who've gone into Clubhouse know Richard, because we all hang out in Clubhouse and chat amongst other businesses or hobbyists and collectors in there as well. So and so that's the team. I don't think I forgot anybody, but that's all of us.
All right. Well, Steve, it's been great having you on to talk about TradeSafe, walk people through your business concept and your business model, let people know about who else is involved as well from a leadership perspective, and to talk through the process of how, if a trade is taking place, how do the cards flow throughout the process. It's wonderful.
Awesome. Appreciate it very much.
And I look forward to having you on again so that we could talk more about how the business develops and grows, new things that may be taking place. I think it's an exciting thing. I look forward to also seeing you again. I know we saw each other at the Mint, but to see you again in person and be able to talk and catch up, I look forward to it.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll see you at the National for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Steve Foley from TradeSafe, everyone. If you have any questions, before you go again, let people know how to get in contact with you and also the business if they have any questions after watching this.
You got it. So you can visit tradesafehub.com or at tradesafehub on our social media handles. They're all the same.
All right. Thank you very much, Steve.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks everyone for watching today and understanding more about TradeSafe. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, sir.